Hey, hey, how are you all doing? Welcome back. It is Monday. It's absolutely beautiful today. Today in Canada, it is a holiday weekend, I guess. So the holiday Monday and last holiday before the school rings a bell and everyone's back in class. So we have a very, very special guest here today who was actually a guest early on in the podcast, and her name is Suzie Tiffany. How are you today, Suzie?
I am excellent. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so
So
excited
excited.
to have you. Yeah, it's exciting because last time we talked, it was quite a while ago, right? It was right around the beginning of the podcast when we came out with it. And now here we are. It's almost like a full circle. It's so fun and exciting.
And it's I've had such a change too since the last time like we talked. It was about meditation, and I've made giant leaps, made huge leaps since then. It's been so much fun. So I'm glad to be back and share with you what's been going on and what I've learned.
Yeah, absolutely. So exciting. And I was going to say it's so different from before when you were on, but I love it. Let's dive into it. So today we are going to talk about manifesting, but being conscious about it. And Suzie has been studying this. She is a manifestation queen, like literally anything she wants, she's manifesting. You manifest a cup of coffee almost every day now,
I do.
right?
I do. I wish I would have picked something else. I'm going to have to change it. I'm going to up my game a little bit. So it's so fun because we're always manifesting, even if we aren't aware that we're doing it. We're always manifesting things. So I'm consciously doing it. Before, I was a worst case scenario thinker. I would think about things and go through every possible scenario that I could think of how it could turn out badly.
Yeah.
And the more that I would think about it, the more clear the thoughts would get. That's what I was creating. One example of that was after my marriage broke up, I was dating this really great guy, and I was like, it's just too good to be true. So I would think about all the ways that he was going to break up with me, and I would really detailed. And it was when he walked in the door, we were supposed to go on a date, and he walked in the door, he was wearing the exact clothes I had thought about him breaking up with me in. He said the exact words that I thought about him breaking up with me. And after that, I was like, it took me a little bit. I'm like, I made that happen. I totally made that exact situation happen. It was exactly as if it was a movie playing out. So
Isn't
that's
it?
when I started to really look into manifestation and thoughts and how you can create your reality. And that brought me to where I'm at now.
And that's just as easy as it is, Suzie? It's just thinking about what it is that you want. And until you're actually aware that that's how simple it is, like until you realize I'm thinking the things I'm thinking are creating my future, until you get that down, it's almost like we just go day to day not realizing what our thoughts are doing, but we're creating the outcome by our thoughts. And I love that you just said that story because that's how a lot of people live. A lot of people live with the thought of I'm going to do this, but what's the worst case scenario, right? Where why not think about the best case scenario? Right?
Exactly.
It's truly amazing when you can become conscious of what it is that you're doing. So, how did you dive into getting into knowing all this about manifestation?
I answered an ad on Facebook to work from home, and that led me to the program that I'm in with you and with Sarah.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest manifestation, actually, was having Sarah and then you come into my life, because I had asked for a change and I wanted a completely different life and go in a completely different direction. And that's what came to me. That's what came to me. And it was screaming right in my face and I couldn't ignore it. Right. I'm like, I need to do this. I need to learn this. I need to be able to change my life because I don't want to be creating bad things for myself. But
I love
it's not until you find the awareness, right? You have to have an awareness of what that you're actually doing it.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think a lot of people don't understand manifesting and what it is. It's like a buzzword right now, right? It's just a word of our thoughts basically become things, and that's what manifestation is. But when you said, you came across something, you were thinking about making a change in your life, and you came across an ad on Facebook that was screaming, and right there, I know a lot of people have the thought process that everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for the reason of what you're asking for yourself, right? And it just seems like coincidence, but it's really what you're asking for. So you were straight up asking, I need a change. I want to make a detour of what's going on in my life and completely go a different route. And boom, right as soon as you thought about that, something came up, and it's like, here I am, here's your opportunity. And people think that's coincidence, but really it's just the universe responding to what it is you're looking for and asking for. So what was the first thing that you can remember that you were like, oh my God, I manifested that, other than like, the situation you just said, when you got into this material and you started manifesting? Can you remember the first thing it was that you manifested?
The first thing I manifested, so the program I got into was quite expensive, and I had no money coming in, no income, and I was on disability, well, waiting for disability, and I didn't have a diagnosis. And as soon as I bought the program, I got approved for short-term disability without a diagnosis, and I had a lump sum payment come into my account, which was the exact amount that I had paid for the program. I had the money come right back in within 3 weeks. I didn't ask for it, but that was what the energy, because money is energy, right? So when you put it out, it's going to come back in. And I was not in a lack mindset anymore, even though I should have been, but I was not in a lack mindset anymore.
Yeah.
So it was a positive flow of money going out and money coming back in. So that
Yeah.
was my first manifestation. That was my
Yeah.
first big manifestation.
I love that. And since then, you've shared so many wins happening within our community.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the other day, if what was it, last week, you manifested a check for,
$7,500, yeah.
I was going to
And
say almost 8 grand.
almost $8,000. And it was funny because it started the day before. I was just like a little joke. I'm going to manifest a cup of coffee. And I went and I laid down for meditation. When I got up, there was a cup of coffee, the exact one that I had wanted, sitting on my countertop. I hadn't asked for it. And my ex had been at the coffee shop, and he said I wasn't going to bring you a coffee. And all of a sudden the words came out of my mouth. And I ordered you a coffee. And he brought it, and he was not intending to bring me a coffee, but he found himself ordering me a coffee. So when I got up from that, there was a coffee on my counter. And then the next day I'm like, well, let's do a little bit of an experiment. So the next day I'm like, okay, I want to get $262 or $263. And I had some investments, and I went in, I was playing with my investments, and I took my profits out, and it was exactly $263. And then later that day, and I had been thinking about and writing about having checks in the mail and my gratitude every day. Later that day, I had the check for $7,500 in my mailbox. So
Right.
it worked. It worked.
Yeah. And you know what? I shouldn't say I think, and I know that we're all connected. So we're all on wavelengths, right? Like we're all connected. So when you were thinking, I love that you were saying you were thinking about the coffee you wanted, and your ex was at wherever he got it, Timmy's, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
And he says, I didn't even think to order you one, but the words just came out of my mouth. So when you were saying that, you guys are connected, right? We're all connected. So now that you know how to manifest, every time you think about something bigger than you've manifested, does it scare you still, or are you just like, I can have that?
I can have anything I want. I know that that's the way the energy in the universe works. You can have anything you want. So the way it works is it isn't just the thought. you have to have the elevated emotion to go with it. So they were doing experiments at the HeartMath Institute and trying to unwind or wind up DNA. And they did this one experiment. They were just doing the thought, the intention of unwinding and winding, and nothing would happen. And then they just did the feeling of love, and nothing would happen. And it wasn't until they combined the two, the elevated motion with the thought, that they were actually seeing the DNA wind up or unwind. So it's proven scientifically that this works. This is not woo woo. This isn't magic. This is science, and it works. It works. So when I get up in the morning, I make sure that I'm in a state of gratitude. If I'm not having that gratitude feeling, if I'm feeling low energy, I make sure I get into meditation, or I go back in bed and I'm getting into that feeling of gratitude. I don't go through my day in a lowered vibration state ever.
I love that you said that, Suzie. I was going to say, so before you start asking for what it is you want to bring the manifestation forward, what is it that you do? So you get into gratitude, you get into the feeling, right? You get into the feeling of love and happiness and wholeness and joy, right? To bring the manifestation in. Is that what you do then?
Absolutely. You have to have the elevated emotion. It doesn't work without it. Doesn't work without it. And see, our brains are dual polarity. So you can have a negative and a positive. And without the elevated emotion, you may bring in something negative that you don't even realize. So you could have this lowered vibration and have this horrible feeling and be asking for something, but that's not really what you're going to get, because you are not in the vibrational state to receive that. So you may get something that you don't even want. So that's why getting into the feeling of gratitude or love is crucial to being able to create and being conscious of it.
And I love that, because when, like, for everybody listening, when you feel yourself in a happy state, in a positive state, it's almost like, it's weird to say, but it's almost like you can feel your whole body working together, right? Because you're just so in a high vibe and you're feeling good. And when you're not in that state and you're not feeling on a positive and you're feeling negative, it's almost like something's missing, right? And you don't feel the same way as if you're feeling good and you're positive. So that right there shows you that in order to receive things to you that you want, you have to be in the state of gratitude and the state of being positive, in the feelings and emotions of being happy and positive, to bring those things towards you, right? Because if your manifestation is something that makes you feel here, but you're feeling here when you're asking for it, you can see, right, that there's a disconnect there, and you're most likely not going to receive it in the way you're asking for it. That's basically how it is?
That's how it is. And it's really important to be coherent between your mind and your heart and your feelings. Abraham Hicks says that she doesn't even monitor her thoughts ever. She just thinks about how she's feeling, and always is conscious of her feelings to make sure that she is in a feeling of gratitude, compassion, love. She doesn't even think about what she's thinking, because one doesn't work without the other. Well, it does. It does. You can get the negative effect if you're feeling low and you're bringing something negative in, but she's just conscious of her feelings. So it's really important. Like doing gratitude twice a day before I that's the first thing I do when I get up in the morning, and before I go to bed is gratitude. So I'm starting my day in gratitude and I'm ending my day in gratitude. Non-negotiable every single day.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you, because if you're starting and ending every day of your week in that state, all around it just feels better, right? And it sets you up for success. And it's not hard to do. It feels freaking good to do it. To go and sit down and think, why am I grateful? What do I love about this life that I have? What do I feel good about? What am I grateful for? I'm grateful for another day, right? So a big thing too, Suzie, when you write gratitude, do you feel every single thing that you're writing?
Absolutely. You have to. You have to feel it. And I actually visualize it as well. So I'm creating the picture in my mind and the feeling. Um, just especially when I get into the ones where I'm creating for the future, those are the ones that I'm really working on having the clear picture and the elevated emotions so that I can bring those things to me.
Yeah.
And it
And
happens fast.
yes. Oh my God, it happens fast. I was just going to say, when I got into this material, the thing that was new to me was gratitude, right? I always had the thoughts that I was happy or grateful for somebody, something, or whatever it may be, but I never got into studying myself and doing gratitude pen to paper. So when I started doing that pen to paper, and then along with the program that we do, we incorporate, visualization and meditation into our lives. I have to tell you, just by listening to this episode today, without even being in this program, that's what I tell everyone I talk to. If you can just start with gratitude and begin moving your way into visualization and meditation, that right there sets you up for everything, because I never did that. It didn't even know what it was about. Right? So when I started doing the gratitude, and just like you said, Suzie, feeling and picturing everything that I wrote down, especially because we think in pictures, right? Our mind thinks in pictures. Everything we do, we see it first. And when I became understanding of and became, in the realization of how gratitude can change your physical feelings just by writing something down of why you're happy and grateful, or what this thing does for you, and you really attach yourself to the feeling, just that in itself raises your vibration. And then when you go into the thinking, like you said, they're connected. When you go into the thinking, and I started to think about the things I was writing down, feeling so good about writing them, but then starting to picture and basically like daydream, right? Of the things I was writing down, and I could see myself in that vision in my head. Just like you said, Suzie, it happens, and it happens fast. So that's why it's so important to be specific of what it is that you're writing and asking for, right?
Absolutely. And not general. Like the more detailed you can get, and when you go into your visualization with that elevated emotion and with that gratitude, if you can bring in all of your senses to make it as real as possible. Neville Goddard talks about the law of assumption. You are assuming that life, that vision, you are putting it on like a suit, an outfit. You're going to put that on, and you want to put yourself into that situation in your mind with the feeling of having it done. It's done. I come from the end. I'm not becoming, I'm already there.
Mm-hmm. I love that too. It's so eye-opening to people that are listening right now that don't know the whole thing, right? So first of all, you're tying your emotions to it. Then you're tying your thoughts to what it is you're doing. But then, like you just said, Suzie, when you're thinking about what it is that you're writing in gratitude and now visualizing, you don't visualize always going after it, right? You're going to visualize yourself having it, being there, holding it, looking like it, doing the thing that you want to do. Like that's the life. You almost have to act as if you're there, right? Because that brings in the five senses. So if your visualization and your gratitude stems around being so happy and grateful that you have a backyard oasis, and you want to renovate this is as simple as it is. You want to renovate your backyard, right? Right now it's just grass. You have a goal of putting in a pool, putting in a little green putting range, or whatever you want your backyard to look like, right? You start in gratitude, Where gratitude too, we've talked about this on episodes prior, is that we do it where you write 5 things that you're happy and grateful for presently and 5 things you're happy and grateful for as if they were here, but they're not, right? You're working towards them. So just simply say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm able to experience my backyard oasis every single day, right? Putting it into the feeling of having it in the physical form. So now in your mind, you're feeling good about it because it excites you when you talk about it and write about it. But now your mind, because we think in pictures, is going to that backyard oasis. So now when you're bringing in the emotion, like you say, Suzie, you're having the thought about it, you intertwine them. Now you're sitting in visualization and meditating on sitting by the pool. You can hear the waves. You can hear the kids splashing in the pool. You can smell the chlorine coming off the water. You can smell the fresh cut grass in your backyard because it's nicely landscaped. You know, you can hear, like I said, you can smell, you can taste the snacks that you're having beside the pool. You can feel how warm the water is, you touch it. See, I'm not physically there, but you, when you're going through that in visualization and meditation, you're there, right? That's exactly what you mean, Suzie, is when you're doing gratitude, first of all, it brings the emotion, then it brings the thought, you tie them together and you move into your meditation with that. That's when the 5 senses comes in and it's like a full circle. Holy hell, I'm there. And this is when it happens fast. But like you said, this comes with consistency. It's not you do it once a week and hopefully it happens. How important, Suzie, is a routine with this?
You have to have a set routine every single day. I don't take weekends off. I do sleep in on weekends, but I still do everything that I would normally do during the week. Monday to Friday, I'm up at always at 3 a.m. to get on with my accountability partner and do our lesson. But usually before that, I'm up and I'm doing gratitude and meditating before my lesson. And then I go into that. And then after that, we go into a mastermind at 4 a.m. my time, which is 6 a.m. Eastern. And that is Monday to Friday. And I don't miss it. I don't miss it a single day. And even on the weekends, I find I'm a little bit off because I'm not sticking to that same routine. Even having that extra hour of sleep kind of throws me off a little bit. So it's super important to be consistent. And the repetition is what creates the new habits. It brings in the manifestations. It can't be a half-assed thing. You have to do it 100% every day.
I love that you say that. And it's so true, right? When you get into a routine and then one day comes and you're off just an hour, you can feel it, right? So for everybody listening right now, who's never been into any of this, I mean, if you've been following us, you know that this is what we do now for everybody listening. But for somebody brand new that doesn't know what this was until they heard us today, what would you give them as advice to start today to do to move towards their manifestations?
I would start with gratitude. That is the very first thing. 5 things you're grateful for that you already have in your life. Be specific. When you're writing them, try and have that actual feeling and the visualization. And then 5 things that you want to happen in the future as if they've already happened. In the present tense, that you already have them, and picture them and feel how it would feel. That's what I would start, morning and night.
I love that. And how long does that take, Suzie?
Not long at all. I noticed a difference within the first week, but it has to be done every day.
I mean, how long does it take for you to sit down and actually write
that? 10 minutes maximum.
Right? So 10 minutes morning and night, implement it into your day and start there.
Yeah.
I love that. And we created the title of this podcast to be let's be conscious creators, because I want Suzie just to touch on this really quick before we get off here. What do you mean by being conscious creators, Suzie?
Um, to not be creating in an unconscious state, going through life and having negative thoughts, negative feelings, and bringing in negative experiences. Be conscious of your words. Your words are really powerful. Be conscious of your feelings. And at first you have to be conscious of your thoughts, and then that comes once you have the elevated feeling and you know that that's how you want to be, you will quickly be able to get yourself back in when you feel yourself out of that state. But to not go through life unconsciously, not going on autopilot anymore. Create your reality. Create the life of your dreams. It's possible. You can have whatever you want.
I love that. And how to be conscious is just to basically, in my perspective, slow down and be aware of your thoughts, your feelings, and think, why am I thinking this? What is my result? Be conscious, right? And the more you slow down to be aware, the more aware you'll become, right? The more conscious you'll become of what it is you're doing and why you're getting the results you're getting. So I love that so much, Suzie, that first of all, if you've never done this, if you've never manifested anything, just start with gratitude, morning and night, 10 minutes out of your day, and write it down and be conscious of the creator that you are, because we say this every episode, we are the creators of our lives. Nobody else can be. Some people might fight me on that because they allow others to control their lives, but you are able to make your own decisions. You're the only one controlling your thoughts. You're the one manifesting the things into your life. So slow down, smell the roses, start with your gratitude. Smelling the roses, it just brought up a thought in my head of you, Suzie, and your house and your garden. And oh my God, I want to talk about that on another episode because that would be awesome. I just love everything that you're doing there. But it was so nice chatting with you today. I know that everybody watching got so much out of that and into starting and especially intertwining the thought and the emotion. That is huge. Is there anything that you wanted to say before we get off here?
No, it's just been so fun being here. I love that I get to be part of such an amazing community, and like having my day start with like-minded people. And it's fantastic when you surround yourself with people that are high energy and have a strong vision of where they want to go. It spurs you on to do the same. I find myself, you've done the analogy before when you walk into a room and it's got really bad energy and you want to run for the door. I'm really aware of that now, and I find myself not wanting to be around people that are negative and things like that. I just want to stay in a high state of gratitude all the time.
Oh, I love that. I'm so grateful for you, Suzie, and you teach me so much too. I just love exactly like you said, right? We get to choose where we are, who we're with, what it is we're doing. So exactly right. As soon as you step into this and this new frame of mind, you're so much more aware of even your surroundings and who you want to hang out with and who you want to spend your time with, right? And it's so true. Starting the mornings every day with you and everyone else is so exciting. There is that option for anyone who's listening who wants to start their morning with us Monday to Friday. We hop on together at 6 a.m. Eastern. And we read articles, we mastermind, we share wins, and you're able to come check that out for 5 days just to see if you like it, see how it is. So if that's something you're interested, send us an email to mindsettheory101@gmail.com, and we can help you get started and into there so you can see Suzie's lovely being every single day. And it was awesome chatting with you, Suzie. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, Kaylee.
You're so welcome. You have a great day and have an amazing week, and we'll chat soon.
All right. See you later.
Bye.